Is this camera angle kind of jank? Sure. Mayhaps. This should be fine, I think. Yay! Okay. Here's the stitch. I'm gonna draw and we're gonna hang out because I'm lonely and I don't like saying that out loud because I feel cringe. But like, I'm gonna draw on my iPad. But like, I recently moved, right? Recently as in, it's like a little over a month ago now. I moved states again for like the third time in 2 years, right? And I maybe shouldn't say this on the internet, but whatever. I now live alone, right? And because I now live alone, I realize I don't like living alone all that much. Now don't get me wrong, I like having some space to myself. I like being able to decorate how I want. I like having control over my environment. But I would like it if my boyfriend also lived here. And that's not his fault, to be very clear. My boyfriend lives back where we used to live purely because of work, right? And apartment stuff, like we still have a lease there. So it's not like I'm mad at anybody or anything, because that would be unfair for sure. I just feel really lonely, and I feel really lonely all the freaking time. And so I figured, what better way to cure that than talking to myself, talking to my phone camera while doing the things that I do in solitude, right? And hey, maybe I'll do this frequently and then people will start hanging out with me and it'll become a fun little thing where everybody who's lonely comes to the same place. Maybe not. Maybe this won't even go on the internet because I have a habit of, I have a bunch of videos on my phone that just are not on the internet because I keep recording things and then not editing them or uploading them either out of embarrassment or out of laziness, or I forget, or I no longer feel passionate about it, and so I just move on because, you know, brains are funny. It seems like something that would be an interesting project for me to do. That feels a little weird to say, but like it'd be a fun project for me to make videos frequently, just to kind of work on the whole feeling lonely all the time thing. And to also kind of, you know, maybe foster some online community, especially because I feel like I don't have much in-person community right now. I've moved so much, like, so I lived in my hometown until college, and then you know, all 4 years of college, I lived in a different dorm or apartment. So that was a lot of moving, but it was all in the same city, right? Like I would move back and forth between my hometown and my college town, which were about an hour apart, not even. But then after college, like the fall after I graduated the spring. The fall after I graduated, I moved to Houston, Texas. I lived there for like a little over a year. I got a job there, that's why I didn't just move there for shits and giggles, because I'm from Michigan, so Texas is pretty far. I moved there because I got a job there, and then I lost my job about a year after I initially got the job, right? And then I was unemployed for a full year. My boyfriend got a job in Mississippi, so we moved there in like February of this year. And then September of this year is when I got my current job offer, and I moved here to North Carolina in October. So I'm hoping this job lasts longer than that one. I'm hoping that this state lasts for me to live in longer than the last two, because I am so freaking sick and tired of moving states. I'm sick and tired of moving, right? But like extra sick and tired of moving state, because now I have to go register my car again, and I have to go like get my driver's license again. I couldn't vote this year because I had moved too close to the polling day or voting day. So I had to just sit there and watch as my country got taken over by fascists and I couldn't even vote, right? So that's cool. But anyway, besides the point, right? I don't really know what the point is, other than I'm sad and lonely lately. And like I want to fix that. You know, I want that to not be the case. I want that to not be the way that I feel all the time. So I'm trying a whole bunch of stuff. You know, I work in an office in person, so I'm trying to be a little bit more proactive by actually being there in person. So I'm working on trying to, you know, spend more time with my friends online. It's not quite as good as being in person, but it's what I have, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to work on that. I'm trying to find places in my area that I can go to, you know, whether it's coffee shops, walking trails, whatever. That would make me feel less lonely, hopefully. But other than that, I'm like, I don't know how to manage feeling the way that I feel lately. Like, I don't know if there's something I can really do about it, you know what I mean? Other than just, you know, getting through it, right? You know, my boyfriend will move up here eventually. I'll make friends here. But like, I still frequently think about my friends back home because I have friends in Houston now, right? The only person I really know in Mississippi is my boyfriend, who will be moving here eventually. And then I have friends in Michigan. I now have friends who've moved various states from Michigan, but like we're all from, like we all went to college or high school or whatever together in Michigan. So I have a bunch of friends that live in Michigan that I miss and that like I wish I could hang out with more, and that I'm bummed that I don't get to see. Obviously it's not their fault, right? And like I see them hanging out with each other and I'm happy that my friends are hanging out. But like I do get a little bit of that feeling of like I wish I could see my friends, you know? Like I wish I could spend time with them in person, you know, go out places like we used to, or even just like, you know, go over to their apartment and bother them, right? And I can't because they're 8-10 hours, I don't know how far it is to drive from here to there, but like a full day's drive away, or like a multiple $100 plane ticket, which I cannot afford to do frequently. Like again, I like having my apartment. I like having my alone time. I like that I can decorate how I want. I like that I can put my phone up and talk to myself and not have people around me be like, what the fuck are you doing? I also filmed a bunch of like apartment makeover stuff that I was gonna edit together and put on TikTok, and I'm still going to do that, but like I keep forgetting to do it and then being like, oh, but it's gonna be a whole big project, right? Because I want it to be a really cool thing, right? Like I see like Lynn Trong or Dustin Vaughn or other YouTubers who do lifestyle stuff like Ono Nina, that type of person. And I want to make videos that are as high quality as those ones. And I'm like, am I capable of doing that though? Because I don't have a whole lot of experience, right? Like I have some video editing experience, but not that level, right? So we'll see. We'll see if I feel good about the result of that. Who knows? I have fun being on TikTok. I do have the minor fear, even though I'm not doing anything insane on TikTok, I'm not the type of person to post hateful stuff. I'm not the type of person to post particularly like opinionated stuff or, you know, anything that would be detrimental to like my job or anything, but I do still have the fear that like my job is gonna see my TikTok and bring it up to me in the office and be like, what the fuck is this? And we'd be like, you know, just me being a Gen Z cringe lord, you know, because most of the people I work with are millennials or Gen X or boomers even, I think. People I work with are very nice, but they probably think I'm a little bit strange sometimes because I'm Gen Z, and Gen Z is a little bit strange sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I could work at home more. And I'm sure that boomers and Gen X are like, why? Like being in the office, and like my dad who works at the same company. Yeah, I'm a Nepo baby. I promise I tried to do something else first and I failed, and that's, listen, I sell appliances, I'm not like in Hollywood or something. Anyways, my dad is like, well, why don't you want to be in the office all 5 days out of the week? I'm like, well, I don't have to. That's why. They said I can work from home some of the time, so I'm gonna do that. Especially on the days where I really don't feel well and I wake up and I'm like struggling to function because I have those days kind of frequently. I mean, I felt like that today. I was at the office today and I had like a full panic attack like an hour into my day. And I heavily debated just calling it and going home and working from home. But I was like, no, I got dressed. I didn't wear this. I wore like a proper sweater. But like I got dressed and I packed all my stuff. I'm at the office. I'm gonna make it through the day. And I did. I made it through the day. I actually stayed late because I was like, well, I feel fine and I'm in the middle of something. It's nice having the option to work from home because sometimes there are just days where I'm like, I don't feel great. And I don't know if I'll be productive here because I'll be more focused when I'm at the office. I'll be more focused on trying to keep myself calm and not have a mental breakdown or something than I will be on getting my work done. Versus sometimes at home, if I'm having a bad mental health day, I'm at least in my own environment, so it's a little bit less stressful, and then I can, spend less time worrying about either freaking out or looking like I'm freaking out, right? Like, I have autism, right? And so sometimes it's noticeable. Like, I will fidget a lot, or I will have a hard time, talking or something. Sometimes I yap, thus this. But sometimes I have a hard time talking. I go moderately nonverbal, or at least not speaking, for a little bit, and that's fine. And I can handle that at home. I can handle that with my boyfriend. I just type on my phone or I write on a sticky note or something. A lot harder to manage in a 9-to-5 workspace with in cubicles, especially because my employer and the people I work with are not aware that I have autism, because I have not said so, because I am afraid of what could happen, even though legally they cannot fire me for that. I am afraid to say that I have autism at work. And it's not something that my company did. It's like broadly speaking, I'm afraid to tell people in positions of power over me that I have autism, because what if that backfires really badly on me sometime, right? Same thing with coming out as queer. I haven't said anything, less important for my workplace to know for sure. But I haven't said anything because I'm what if the people that I work with who seem perfectly chill secretly hate gay people? Then what? Then what? Not that, there's legal protections against that being a problem, but that doesn't mean that it would be a fun situation to deal with. So I'd rather just not say anything. So sometimes working from home is better, but I think that older generations, especially Gen X and Boomers, because I think millennials kind of get the same treatment that a lot of Gen Zers get, which is that millennials are blamed for everything. Millennials are blamed for everything by Gen X and Boomers, and then also for some reason Gen Z, and to a certain extent Gen Alpha, also blame millennials for a bunch of things. It's guys, give them a break. What? Come on. You can, I don't think that making fun of things for being chuggy or whatever is a problem, because, we get made fun of for being cringe too. Gen Alpha, when, as Gen Alpha becomes more and more prevalent online, because Gen Alpha is, I think the oldest of Gen Alpha is 14 right now, right? That's kind of where that cutoff is. We're gonna become, the cringe ones to them, and that's fine. That's the way it goes. That's the cycle of cringe. Gen Z maybe gives millennials a bit too hard of a time, and also acts as if millennials hate us. A lot of millennials can probably relate to Gen Z, especially older Gen Z. I was born in 2000. I think the cutoff for Gen Z is 96. I think. I feel for millennials, and I relate to a lot of millennials in the workplace and stuff. And I think millennials kind of also have the mindset that we do of yes, it's important to work hard. Yes, it's important to get your stuff done. Yes, it's important to put in the effort for what you do for the sake of keeping your job, and also for the sake of doing the things that you were hired to do. But it's also important to kind of, set it down when you leave the office, right? Or when you leave whatever your work is. If you work from home, at 5 p.m. or whatever time you would stop working, it's important to shut it off and to focus on your own stuff. And that's something that my dad, who's Gen X, doesn't get. He will have his work phone on and he'll be working into the evening after dinner and stuff. And I'm nope, I will not do that. I will not do that unless I agreed to it far ahead of time. If there was a specific time where I told someone yeah, I'll work on this during the nighttime because someone else has a different time zone or something like that. Other than that type of circumstance, I'm not just gonna do that all the time, because I'm no, that's not healthy. That's not that will lower your productivity overall. And also I would like to have a life. I feel that's something that our generation is starting to really push for, is having a life outside of your career, right? There are some people who say I don't dream of labor, I don't have a dream job, and that's valid. Personally, I do have a dream job. My dream job is being an artist. I don't know if that counts. Does that count? Sound off. Does that count? But like, I feel like a lot of people are starting to actually be done when the workday ends, right? Like, not carry over their job into the rest of their day, because people, like, there's other stuff beyond work in life, right? Like, there's community, there's friends, there's family, there's hobbies, there's like even for me, I would rather watch a cool TV show or like catch up on YouTube videos from someone I really enjoy, or play new video games, because I did major in game dev, right? That's a big interest of mine, right? I'd rather do that than, you know, the alternative, which is just keep working. Realistically, I spend more time rotting, like sitting on the couch or in bed and like scrolling through my phone or listening to music and just kind of staring at the wall or napping, because I think maybe it's depression. I don't know. Like, I just can't. There are some times where I'm just like, none of the things that I could be doing right now, like, I don't feel the energy to get up and like do a drawing or like read a book or like play a video game. I'm like, I don't have the energy for that. I even almost didn't make a video right now, which is what I'm doing right now, because I was like, I'm tired. Like, I just worked a full day. I'm tired and I don't know if I have the energy, but I was like, no, I've been thinking about this literally all day, because I was like, I think I want to start doing this just for fun, as like an occasional thing that I spend my time doing. Sound off if that's depression. Is it depression to not want to do literally anything, literally ever? Like, I will text my friends and be like, how does anyone have the energy to do anything ever? Because like, I never, like, or very rarely anyway, do I feel like I actually have the energy to do anything. Like, even right now, I don't have any energy. Like, I'm doing what I'm doing despite not having energy. Like, I'm at a point where I'm like, I have to do things in spite of my mental state rather than waiting for it to get better, right? And I'm sure that there are a lot of people who have that, and like, you know, even like Markiplier has talked about, like, he's not always motivated, he's just disciplined, right? And that's something I'm trying to, you know, work on a little bit, is be like, okay, even when I don't feel like doing something, if it's something I told myself I was gonna do, something I need to do, something I've been wanting to do, I'm not just gonna wait until the perfect moment to do it, because that moment very well might never come. Sometimes I psych myself out with stuff like this, because I'm like, okay, well, nothing's gonna come of this, right? Like, I'm just talking to the void. And like, yeah, that could be the case. Like, I could upload videos for however long and no one sees them, or very few people see them, and that's fine. That's fine. Like, I'm not sitting here quitting my job for this, like, without any basis of doing so. I'm just doing this for fun and for like my own, like, almost journaling purposes, in a sense. Like, it's a video, oh my god, it's a vlog. Like, you know, it's like video journaling kind of, but I'm making it public because I don't know if it's because I want attention or if it's just because I want other people to be like, oh yeah, me too. Because it's nice when someone talks about something and it's like, oh, I relate to that experience, you know? So that's part of it. I think part of it also is everyone wants attention, I think, to an extent, just in different ways, right? Am I right or am I right, gamers? I'm yapping. I am rambling. I had literally nothing that I wanted to talk about when I pressed record, other than that I was lonely and sad and bored. I am making progress on this drawing, I swear, but like, it's just not all that visible progress, because as it turns out, drawing takes a while. This particular drawing I'm trying to do as realistic as possible, using proper like skin textures and stuff. I'm using Procreate. I'm probably gonna show how it looks at some point. I should have like recorded my screen of my iPad while I was talking. Give you something to look at. Yeah, whatever, who cares? 90% of people who watch videos like this on the internet probably aren't even watching. You're probably like doing what I do when I watch videos like this, which is like dishes or laundry or doing your own hobby, like drawing or whatever, or gaming or whatever it is that you like to spend your time doing. So if that's you, shout out, because me too. That's how I spend my time. I've also thought about going back into streaming. I was streaming for a bit back when I was living in Mississippi, just because I was unemployed, so it's like I might as well you know, I've got nothing else to do. Whether like I apply to jobs, I, you know, do some online coursework stuff. I'm like, I might as well stream. So do that, but like, I don't know, there's a game that I'm in the middle of that I want to finish so that I can stream other stuff, but then I'm like, I don't, that game is difficult, and it's been a long time since I picked it up. It's Outer Wilds, by the way, but it's the DLC. And it's been a while since I picked it up, so I don't really remember what I needed to do, or what, you know, puzzles I needed to solve or anything. So we'll see. I'm sure I'll go back to it. But part of that too is I was streaming it to, you know, talk to my friend, because he's a big fan of that game and he's the one who introduced me to it. So I like, when I stream it, I want to stream it when he's available to watch the stream, right? So like, I have to make sure that I like text him and I'm like, hey, are you busy right now? Are you free enough to watch me stream, even if it's, you know, while you're working on something else? Because he's still in school, he's doing grad school, so he's a nerd, and he's going to an Ivy League for cancer research and biomedical engineering, or whatever his major is. Like a nerd. Meanwhile, I'm like, man, I got a job, but it doesn't use my degree. I studied game dev and computer science, and look what I do now. Sell refrigerators. But I like it. I like it a lot, and I've been surrounded by this like industry or whatever since I was a kid, because my dad has worked at this exact company for the majority of my life. So I have known this company and the, you know, my dad's management and stuff, and the business in general. I've been familiar with it for the majority of my life, which is super cool. And I really like the people here, and they're very nice, and they're very good at what they do. And it's only a little bit intimidating that they all know my dad, because they're like, oh, you're that guy's kid, and I'm like, yeah, and they're like, what's that like? And I'm like, you know, it's certainly an experience. It's an experience having everybody know who he is, and then when they find out we're related, most of them are like, I'm so sorry for you. Because my dad's a great guy, but he is not the type to spare people's feelings when he has an opinion on what they are doing or how they are performing, or, you know, certain programs or systems in place in the company that are not working right. My dad will just be like mean about it. Apparently. That doesn't surprise me at all. I don't know if anyone who knows him would be surprised, but that's how he is at work. And I don't think that anyone who knows my family would be surprised that my older brother picked that up for him, because my older brother is also like that, you know, in work, where he's good at what he does, but because of that, he gets frustrated with people who are not as good at what they do. So there's a little bit of pressure there, even though I don't do the same thing that my dad does. Same company, different job, right? Similar job, but different. But it's intimidating having people be like, oh yeah, you know, your dad is so good at what he does, or oh, my dad being like, yeah, these are my numbers, or this is, you know, this is what I'm doing, or being like, so what, you know, how's your sales going? And I'm like, they're good. I'm new, I don't know what I'm doing. I know how our products work, but I don't know, I'm still learning how to like tell people to buy things and not feel badly for telling people to spend their money. Even though I'm not selling to individuals, I'm selling to dealerships, right? I don't know. If you've ever done sales or anything like that before, you'll probably know the feeling, maybe, where it's like, I don't know, I feel badly, like upselling is something that I am still improving at, because I'm like, I don't know, man, I don't want to, even though I know that I'm doing my job, it's like I feel like selling to people, it feels like I'm doing something wrong, even though that's literally the entirety of my job description. Does that make any sense at all? Probably not. I don't know. I'm rambling and being cringe and annoying, but you know what? I am cringe, but I am free. I feel so burnt out right now. Like I'm realizing as I'm sitting here talking that that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling burnt out. Like I'm feeling, but I also feel really depressed and lonely. So like gaming sounds fun, but then I'm like, oh, but I'm burnt out. Like I really want to just rest and be on my own, but I don't actually want to be alone. I just don't want to like feel the social pressure to mask or to be particularly enjoyable to be around. But because I live by myself and I don't have like my boyfriend around me right now, I don't have that kind of luxury of being like, okay, well, I can just sit in the same room as someone and feel less lonely, but also feel, you know, not feel the burnout, the social burnout that comes with, you know, being actively on a call with someone. And that's why I'm doing this, right? Is so that I can try to combat that a little bit. But even with this, it's like, I'm talking. I'm trying to be, you know, interesting. I don't know. I also don't know how much of this I'm gonna cut, because I've been filming for half an hour, and like, I don't know if I've said literally anything of interest or of value to people. We'll find out. We'll find out. I will insert here a picture of, I'll actually screenshot it right now so I don't forget, of what my project currently looks like. And I'm gonna set it aside for a minute and be done talking, just because, you know, I don't want to yap your ear off all day. But I appreciate anyone who stopped by and hung out. And maybe I'll come back tomorrow. On the one hand, I would like to do a daily thing, because I feel like that'd be fun. But on the other hand, am I gonna keep up with that? I don't know, maybe. And hey, maybe with minimal editing. Maybe I'll do minimal editing, you know? Maybe that's what the need is that I just need to do, like, just cut some of the dead space and call it good, because then I could just cut, upload, and then be done. Rather than trying to turn every single little video that I make into some hours-long project. But yeah, I'm glad if anyone joined me and hung out and drew or just listened. Appreciate it. Appreciate being here. And if you are there and you exist, tell me how you're feeling. Talk about whatever you want to talk about, or give me your opinions on loneliness, or living alone, or moving, or literally anything else that I talked about, because I'm interested in what people think. And I'm interested in if other people in my age range are experiencing the same thing. So yeah, also I hope this candle wasn't too distracting. I think it is nice, and it's comforting, and it smells very good. It's called Perfect Morning. It smells delicious. It's very sweet and nice. Okay. I don't know how to not be annoying.